Hey, everybody. China is buying land in the U.S. This is nothing new. It's usually in the form of farmland and ranch land. But what is most concerning, don't get me wrong, it's nestled quite close to our military bases. We're going to get into this. Before we do, hit the like button, please. Subscribe and ring the bell if you like this kind of content. I don't want anybody to miss it. This is, it's kind of par for the course. This is off the Federalist. I'll put it in the comment. I'll pin it in the comments and I'll put it in the description. Letting China purchase U.S. land poses an even bigger national security risk than you think. There's Mr. 11. He is so happy with himself. Chinese entities keep purchasing plots of land, presenting the Chinese military with a strategic advantage should conflict arise. This is exactly what I would do if I was the enemy, guys. Buyers from the People's Republic of China purchased $6.1 billion in real estate just last year, the most of any foreign buyer. Many of these purchases over the past few years have been of farmland or ranch land near U.S. military bases. Now, the telecommunications thing is what we really need to focus on. Telecommunications equipment from China's Huawei installed in rural America suggests that Chinese land purchases could pose a severe national security threat as well. The Chinese government, more than a decade-long effort to establish electronic intelligence and jamming capability in the U.S. adjacent to military installations and in Washington, D.C. The Chinese government, in a decade-long effort, they don't plan for next month or next year. They plan for 10 years up to 100 years in advance. This has been a plan for a long time. It looks like they've accomplished their plan. Such a system could deliver a crippling electronic Pearl Harbor against American nuclear weapons system and strategic communications, vital to deterring and defeating a military surprise attack. The report details how China's state-supported telecommunication giants, Huawei, which they pretty much own all of the telecommunications stuff, and ZTE pretty much owns the rest of it. I have never heard of them, so I looked it up for you guys. Is a Chinese, partially state-owned technology company that specializes in telecommunications. They have been at it since 1985. They're not new to this game. But the biggest problem with all this is they've been selling cell phone tower equipment and routers, often at a loss. Why does anybody sell anything at a loss? There's got to be a motive. There's a motive. What is it? Put it in the comments. Hashtag motive. To small rural telecommunications providers in the heartland. Much of the made in China equipment was installed adjacent to the land-based leg of America's nuclear triad. The 400 Minuteman No. 3 intercontinental ballistic missiles, also known as ICBMs, in Colorado, Montana, Nebraska, North Dakota, and Wyoming. Chinese telecommunications presents 4 threats. All right, here's it. Real-time communications intelligence. So they'll be able to see what we're communicating in real time. Real-time imagery. They'll be able to see exactly what we're doing in real time. Offensive signals jamming. They can stop what we're trying to do, in war. And last but not least, internet attacks. They can launch a cyber attack while they're jamming and taking over every other communication we have. This is terrifying. Cell tower transmitters can be ordered to broadcast on certain frequencies used by the military, a tactic known as jamming. Cell towers connectivity to the internet could be used to overwhelm or degrade internet service in the early hours of conflict when it really matters. Okay, they've known about this since 2019. Trump brought it up. He actually what do you call those? Executive order. And President Biden fleshed it out, talking about Congress appropriated 1.9 billion to rip out and replace about 24,000 pieces of Huawei and ZTE equipment in rural America. But the problem is none of this has been removed. Chinese telecommunication equipment remains a ticking time bomb with resistance to its removal, ranging from economic justifications to cries, of course, of xenophobia. You know, if you don't like what we're doing, then you're xenophobic. The People's Republic of China played a key role in the decline in 1979. China declares its telecommunications industry as a strategic and stated it required absolute control. China wants absolute control of all telecommunications. In 1982, China imported 100% of its telecommunications equipment. By 2000, it was self-sufficient, importing no foreign equipment. They are the absolute authority on telecommunications. China's path to dominance was simple. It leveraged Western demand from quarterly profits. Like everything else we send overseas to be manufactured. It's really sickening. We've been sold down the river. I imagine the reason why we hadn't ripped out and replaced everything is because we couldn't make it anyway. Like everything else, we need to start having talks about critical things that we absolutely have to have here in the U.S. that China makes that we can't get our hands on, like medical supplies and obviously telecommunication stuff. And it's a multitude of things that we should probably be thinking about. Action to take right now would be think of some things that are made in China only that you can get right now, as there is a glut in a few different places, and go ahead and put them away. Put them in a bag, suck the air out of it, and stick it on a shelf. 1 is none, 2 is 1, and 3 is where you want to be. And above all, guys, I want you to have an awesome, awesome day. Later.